Welcome back to the Liberty Report. Alex Newman, your host here. Thank you, folks, so much for staying with us over the break. Before we get to our next guest, I do want to encourage you to get over to patriot.tv/Newman. That's patriot.tv/Newman. Like you, I was sick and tired of the misinformation, the lies spread by the corporate propaganda machine masquerading as news media. And so I decided to join with Patriot TV to bring the truth to you and to countless American patriots all across this country. Those of us who love God and love our country and love our families and are determined to prevent the evildoers from overthrowing our system. I want you to go over to patriot.tv/Newman and become a Patriot subscriber member today. You can get a big discount when you use that promo code Newman. You can also get good deals with our partners, folks. Old Glory Bank, Cardio Miracle. There's just so many good folks out there. Why do business with the big evildoers that hate you when you can do business with companies that share your values? And you can find that all at patriot.tv/Newman. Folks, what's going on in South Africa is very near and dear to me. I used to live in South Africa, and I love the peoples of South Africa. And the government there is getting increasingly bold in its attacks on not just liberty, but certain minorities. And now there's a big effort to push back, not just with Donald Trump in the White House, but a homegrown effort to try to protect the rights and liberties of the people who are under a constant attack by the far left totalitarian government. Our guest today is Dr. Peter Hammond. He's a missionary. He is the founder of Frontline Fellowship. I always tell people he's way cooler than James Bond, right? He doesn't do it for the glory of a government. He does it for the glory of the Lord. But he was born in Africa, grew up in the former Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe. And he has a heart for the Great Commission. He's been taking the gospel to people all across that continent for his whole life. And he has some of the most incredible stories. He's written tons of books. I hope you'll follow him online. He's doing really, really great things. Peter Hammond, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us. Talk to us about this effort to secede from the Republic of South Africa and create the independent Cape of Good Hope. Why is it necessary? What does it mean?
Well, if everything was going well and we had a good government who was protecting us and the lights were always on and we didn't need to fear for our lives, then this probably wouldn't be a popular movement at all. Let's face it, it's basically a vote of no confidence in the government. So, for example, in our country, you've got a tremendous growth of homeschooling and of Christian schools, massive increase. I homeschooled my 4 children, and the Christian school industry has just exploded. When we first started homeschooling in South Africa back in the 1990s, there were about 3 different curriculum providers at the Homeschool Expo, the first one. The last one I went to, we had about 100 different exhibits, and this is from textbook providers, homeschool curriculum providers, and so on. Now, that's a vote of no confidence in the government schools. You could get government schools much cheaper. Of course, they cost more, but they're using a taxes, so you don't notice the price as much. Government education is not only inefficient, but of course the results are hideous. And I think America knows that. That's why you're abolishing a Department of Education right now. Well, we don't trust our government schools. And in fact, the government schools are so bad that in one whole province, the school textbooks didn't arrive until the school year was over. The exams had finished before the school textbooks arrived. I mean, literally, how inefficient can that be? In some schools, they've got 80 students in a classroom. They're sitting there with umbrellas because the rain's pouring in on them inside the classroom. You just can't believe how bad the schools are. You're talking about assaults, murders, rapes, arson, all kinds of things going on in government schools. So no wonder we have private schools. Well, the same thing could be said for private security. The government is so inefficient at protecting us that in the past, nobody would have thought a private security company. When I was growing up, we didn't even think of fences, gates, security gates, burglar bars were unknown, and nobody would have a private security company. The South African police were quite efficient and effective enough. But now you've got more private security personnel, over 600,000 people employed in private security companies in South Africa. And most people put more trust in them than they do in the police. In fact, many of our police stations have contracts with the local private security company to protect them because some police stations have been robbed, like the firearms have been stolen by criminals coming to police. And the police station now subscribes to private security companies. They've got a panic button and they've got a sign outside, armed response from ADT or one of the other many private security companies. Well,
Peter,
instead of the
Peter,
government
what
recognizing
is
that,
Peter? We've only got about 8 minutes left in this segment, and I mean the situation in South Africa is dire. You and I both know. In fact, when Gregory Stanton of
yeah,
Genocide Watch went down there about a decade ago, that's when I finally said I got to get on this. He said South Africa was a stage 6 out of 8 on the genocide scale. He had evidence, he said, of direct involvement and complicity by the government of South Africa in calls to
yeah,
genocide against minority groups. And the West kind of just stopped focusing on South Africa after the fall of the old government, backed by the Soviet Union, the U.S. government, the UN, and now you guys are trying to create an independent nation down there, as I understand it. What are the
yes.
steps that would be necessary to bring that about? And what's been the response so far from the South African government? My understanding is that they are not pleased with this idea, but are taking it seriously.
Indeed, but please let me just finish this point. It's super relevant. The government's bringing a new law to disarm private security companies. Now, there are
Oh wow!
600,000 personnel in private security companies, and they are being banned from not only having firearms, but non lethal weapons like tasers, batons, water cannon, uh, even the tear gas canisters, right down to even non lethal guns that fire plastic bullets and rubber bullets. These are to be denied to private security companies. I ask you, what possible motive could such legislation have, except that the government is planning genocide? And we
Yeah.
believe it because we've got people in government standing up and singing, kill the Boer, kill the farmer, shoot to kill the Boer, kill the farmer. You know that, and I'm sure you've probably even seen the book, Kill the Boer, Government Complicity in Farm Murders, written by Ernst Ruetz, which documents
Yes.
thousands of farmers and their family members who've been not just murdered, but tortured to death in the most bestial ways imaginable. In fact, you couldn't even imagine the kind of sick, sordid ways this is often done. So we've got
Yeah.
a bunch of legislation, expropriation without compensation. That legislation. We've got the Bella Bill, which is trying to interfere in private schools. So the government can't fix their schools, but they want to now interfere with your private schools, even your homeschooling, as to what you teach,
Yeah.
which has to include critical race theory, racism. It's got to teach the whole LGBTQ, transgender madness, and so on. They're trying to infringe not only on our private schools, but our home schools. And they're now trying to disarm not only our private security companies, but ourselves as well. The only thing I can think is the end goal is genocide. I've been a missionary for 42 years. I've ministered in 38 countries, and I was in Rwanda. I walked knee deep in corpses in the churches in Rwanda and in the hospitals, saw the personnel pulling out the bodies and breaking up the congealed blood in the gutters while swarms of rats swarmed over the whole place and over us at night when we were trying to sleep in bed, batting off rats with maglite torches and with machetes because we were literally in the middle of the killing zones there. Now, we've got people, I'm talking about members of parliament, talking about killing all the whites. I was at a
Yeah.
prestigious meeting in the Kelvin Grove Club in Cape Town where an ANC member of parliament running as a candidate for re-election said, "We're going to kill you whites like flies." And I said, "Like in the
Wow.
Rwandan genocide?" And he says, "Exactly like in the Rwandan genocide." To which I
Wow.
responded, "Did you
That's
notice how
scary,
that turned
Peter.
out?" It
Yeah.
is. We're living in a situation where, and I've got 4 children and 3 grandchildren living in Cape Town, so we committed to this country. I've been a missionary here, I'm a missionary to persecuted churches. I'm not planning to leave. But we are facing genocide. We've got a government that wants to take away our weapons, that wants to take away our property, that wants even to take away our right to homeschool our children. What are we to do? Well, we either go down with the SA Titanic or we launch out in the free and independent Cape of Good Hope. Now, the Western Cape
Mm.
is a province that has never voted for the ANC. It's the one province in the continent of Africa that is not run by the same party as the governing party of the central government. We have a heritage of voting against what the government wants. And so in the Western Cape, we think we've got a chance to hold on to a toehold of civilization in Africa, a last retreat for Western Christian values. And the population on the ground support this. We have a movement called Cape Exit, and back in 2019, I should say, in 2019, there were 7,000 members signed up to Cape Exit. It has since grown to 841,000 voters in the Western Cape who say they support a referendum for a free and independent Cape of Good Hope. Now, that's only half of the voter base that we need to win a free and independent Cape of Good Hope. There were only 1.6 million votes cast in the last elections. There are 3 million registered voters in the Western Cape. If we can get 1.6 million, double our numbers of Cape Exit in the next month, we could be able to legally vote for secession in the Western Cape. Now, the reason why I'm thinking about this is I witnessed secessions. As a missionary, I saw Croatia and Slovenia and Slovakia break away, Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, successful secessions. I was a major part of South Sudan's secession movement, the youngest country in the world, 9th of July 2011, when South Sudan became a free and independent country, broke away from Islamic Arabic Sudan, so that the black Christian South is now a free and independent country, separate from the Arab Sharia law North. Now, I believe this can work even better in the Western Cape. We could be energy self-sufficient. We wouldn't need power failures in the Western Cape. The only reason we have power failures right now is because we're on the national grid and we've got to compensate the other parts of the country who don't have enough electricity under the inefficiency and corruption of Eskom, the government-controlled energy provider. We wouldn't be short of anything from water onwards. The problems we're having right now are from central governments. Yes.
Peter, we're down to just about 2 minutes left in the show, and I do want to give folks in America some ideas on how they can get involved. Obviously, pray for the folks down in the Western Cape, but is there anything specific that Americans can do to help you guys?
Yes, please. Contact your elected representatives to speak up for us. We are facing genocide in South Africa. There are people planning it, doing it. Now, we've got a book out, A Case for Secession. I have worked on this. Just the cover alone proves the point. We've got the pictures here of flags of 23 countries that are successful secessions, and that starts with Switzerland and Netherlands and the United States yourself. So there are successful cases of secession where we have countries that have succeeded in breaking away from the national government, and South Sudan being the most recent one. We've got the Cape of Good Hope picture next. So this country, Switzerland is an example of excellence. Just on the insides, giving the pictures of the flags of the countries that have broken away, successful secession movements. I think we prove our point. But the case
how do people get a copy of this, Peter?
Contact our missionary. We've got a website, thecapeofgoodhope.online. Thecapeofgoodhope.online.
Excellent. And I hope people will check it out.
Our main mission website is frontlinemissionsa.org, frontlinemission.org.za, and you will find
just today I got your newsletter. Yeah, just today I got your newsletter, Peter, and it was amazing. It was on Hebrews, and yesterday I spent quite a bit of time with my children in Hebrews chapter 11, and it spoke to me in a way that it never has before. And so I got your sermon and one other, both today, on Hebrews. What you're doing is incredible. I really appreciate it. I urge everybody to go check out those websites, check out the book. South Africa may seem like a distant problem. Folks, the folks down there are cousins to Americans, closer cousins than anybody else in the world. And it's an issue that's near and dear to my heart. I've been reporting on this for publications around the world for well over a decade. They're in a very, very desperate situation right now. Donald Trump is paying attention, and we need to be paying attention too. Peter, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for what you do. Final chance, what's the website to track you down again?
So it's thecapeofgoodhope.online or frontlinemissionsa.org. And you will find that we are also busy on social media, but thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. We praise God for the New American Magazine. Thank you for your programs. We're very grateful.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Peter Hammond, God bless you, sir, and God bless the folks of South Africa. And you guys out there, thank you for tuning in. Share this with your friends, your family, your elected representatives. Really appreciate all that you do for the Lord and for our country. I'm Alex Newman. This is the Liberty Report for Patriot TV. Until next time, thanks for watching, and God bless you all.